Hello, beautiful souls. It's me, Reverend Chris, talking to you today from my car. I'm actually going to an interesting business meeting in a minute, but I'm early. And I wanted to make a video originally about September 11th and tragedy, and I never had time to do it this weekend, and I apologize for that. I'm still on time getting at least one video out every week. But I realized today, which is September 15th, that there was another tragedy that was in history on this day. I did post it on my personal Facebook page, but I didn't post it on the Reverend Chris, Facebook group. And that tragedy, I won't get into like a huge history lesson, but basically four little black school children, little girls, were killed in Birmingham, Alabama on this day in 1963. And it's just another example, not saying that it's the same exact thing as September 11th, but another example of how basically tragedy can strike at any time without us knowing, and that as a nation or personally, we need to learn how to deal with it, to process it, to help us move on, and that these things keep occurring in history and will probably always occur until Christ comes back. So we need to be prepared mentally and emotionally to know what to do when tragedy comes into our life, and that life does go on for us after a tragedy. So we have to somehow figure out, negotiate with ourselves how to process these things, and how to have a hopeful spirit and remain faithful even though things beyond our control tend to happen in life. So I found 4 Bible verses. I'm not using a Bible today. I just had some on my phone that I was wanting to talk about for the September 11th video I was going to make. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is there's so many Bible verses about how God always is in control and has your back no matter what the situation is or what happens, or how Jesus kind of has suffered for us so we will have less suffering, and that we will go to heaven once our life is over here. So if nothing else from this video, know that unfortunately tragedy is a normal part of life to go through, and that you will be rewarded in heaven, and that things will always get better while you're still here on earth. Your life will get better after a tragedy. It doesn't seem like it at the time, it doesn't seem like it, and it's not easy, but it will get better. And I just want to try to encourage someone, whoever's watching, that needs to know that. Psalm 145, number 14 says, "The Lord lifts the fallen and those bent beneath their loads." So basically, as a human being, sometimes you carry a heavy load. That load is emotional. It could be just your responsibilities are very heavy, and the Lord is always there to lift you. Whatever you're going through never lasts forever. So John 16:33, "In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer." I can't read, obviously. "I have overcome the world." So this Bible verse is obviously the words of Jesus because it's in the book of John, and it's saying basically there's going to be tribulation in life, but it's our job to be cheerful no matter what. So be of good cheer. Remember that Jesus died for you when you're going through a hard time and there's a tribulation. There's not one verse in the Bible that says you'll never have a hard time in life. You'll never have tribulation. You'll never have hard times. The thing is, we need to face that we do, and then take them as they are and try to learn from them and move on from them. And that does make us stronger in character. And then I have Isaiah 61:3, "To all who mourn Israel, he will be given a crown of beauty for ashes instead of despair." So this was a really famous Bible verse from the book Beauty for Ashes by Joyce Meyer. She's a wonderful, to me, she's a motivational speaker and a minister, but she is just a powerful woman. And she had a book back when, the first book I ever read by her, called Beauty for Ashes. It's been out for many years. And basically it's talking about when you go through these hard times or life deals you a really tough hand, that later you can come out even more beautiful. Your life will be more beautiful. You may have ashes to begin with, but God will turn those ashes into beauty. So every time I read that verse or hear that phrase, getting beauty for ashes, I think of Joyce Meyer, and she's, so inspiring. Check out her website. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I've been a member of Joyce Meyer, I think, since the early 2000s. So I do get a lot of her materials, and they're really fantastic. Her resources are amazing. All right, and then the last thing I want to talk about is the book of Job, J-O-B. It's spelled like we would say in America, job, but it's pronounced Job. Job was a fellow that was always faithful. He served the Lord every day. He was a farmer. He had a huge farm. He was a very rich man. He had, wonderful, healthy children, a beautiful wife, everything going for him. And then the devil decided that he was going to attack Job because he was so faithful to God. And there's like the whole story, if you read through it, kind of your assignment, if you'd like, is to study the story of Job. It has a lot of points, but mainly it's always that Job was always faithful, and he always said things are going to get better. And he ended up losing everything, like his farm, his wife, everything, you name it. But the last part of the story in Job 42:12 says, "The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former." And he was blessed with 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. So the Lord blessed, even though he went through horrible tragedies, lost everything, the Lord blessed him later with way more than he could have ever had before, way more than he could have imagined. That does not saying that what he went through wasn't valuable, or that losing everything was easy, or it was okay, or everything's great and dandy. Oh, well, my wife's gone, but I have 1,000 donkey. That's not what the story's about. It's about, yes, bad things can happen to us, tragedy can strike, things beyond our control can happen in our lives. But if you remain faithful and you have hope and you keep going on and serving the Lord, things do get better, and you'll probably always be rewarded for more than you had before. So I hope these videos help someone out there. I always love making them. I'm sorry that mine was so informal today, but I really just wanted to talk about tragedy, since this is a week of kind of remembering a few different ones. And remember to subscribe, like, share these videos. I always enjoy talking to everyone. I hope that you're all blessed this week. And if you want to email me any free prayer requests or any questions, comments, it's freeprayerlove@aol.com. And it's anonymous because it's by email. You can donate to my patreon.com page for $1 or more anytime. I'll put the link below. And I will talk to you next week. Thank you.